Hi, everyone. Good morning. Welcome back to our Mobile App Academy, where we show you how to build mobile apps on the Now platform. My name is Charlie Steiner, Product Marketing Manager here at ServiceNow. And I want to give a warm welcome to everyone joining us live this morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you may be. If you're joining us live, let us know where you are, where you're from, and what your history is with mobile apps with ServiceNow. I see we've got João and Kyle in the chat. Welcome, guys. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Hope you're doing well. And if you're brand new to using our mobile apps, definitely let us know in the chat. Let us know if you're in our communities. We love getting insight from you, whether it's from here or on the communities or anywhere else. We put together these Mobile App Academy sessions based on your feedback, so let us know what topics you guys would like to learn in the future, and if we can go back on anything, let us know. These conversations are bi-monthly, so every 2 weeks, and this week we'll be going over consolidating mobile workflows. So with that, and without further ado, we'll go ahead and dive straight in, and David Ha, take it away.
Thanks, Charlie, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our Mobile App Academy. My name is David Ha, and I'm an outbound product manager here at ServiceNow. And giving a warm welcome to everyone joining us live here today. So, we love getting insight from all of you, as Charlie was saying, whether it's from here or mobile community. And we love putting together these App Academy sessions based on what we hear from you on what you want to learn about. And based on popular requests today, we'll be doing a live building session, leveraging the out-of-the-box emergency response app and how we can consolidate workflows like this one into our Now mobile app. And within this custom workflow, we'll be doing the following. On the Now mobile app, we'll start with the out-of-the-box experience that's already available to use upon plugin enablement. And then we're gonna enable the out-of-the-box emergency response app to put it into the Now mobile app. And to improve this out-of-the-box experience, we're gonna consolidate the emergency response workflow and move some of the content over to our home applet launcher, some of the stuff that you'll already find on the Now mobile app. And then we'll talk about some of the things that you should consider when creating custom experiences for different users as well. In order for you to be successful today, we recommend that you check out our previous Mobile App Academy recordings. As you leverage your mobile implementation, or actually we have a mobile implementation guidebook that you can leverage that's posted on our mobile community. And understanding the hierarchy of our mobile apps is essential in learning how to customize and deploy your own custom workflows. Most of the workflows on the mobile platform can be built using Mobile Studio or low no-code mobile designer tool. Although today we'll be doing some advanced configurations that requires navigating outside of Mobile Studio using the Now platform UI. Okay, so this live building session will last about 40 to 50 minutes, and then we'll open up to Q&A for the last 10 to 20 minutes. If you have any questions throughout today's presentation, feel free to send them over in the Q&A section of Zoom. And then at the end of the presentation, we'll circle back and address them. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into it. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. For today's session, you're gonna wanna make sure that you already have installed the Now mobile app from your device's app store. In our previous App Academies, we showed you how to do things like configure some of our pre-built mobile experiences, like My Requests, My Services, the Information tab. We also did things like, how do you add new requests, how to add new fields to applets, how to modify those fields, and things like adding new catalog items. And I also walked through some of the flows and use cases on what's available immediately out of the box upon enablement. So we've already uploaded that content in some of our past videos for Mobile App Academy, and you can actually find them on the ServiceNow community channel. So if you're relatively new to the Mobile App Academy, we definitely recommend checking those out. Has a lot of content and learnings that comes with it. And then for any pre-built experiences or basic configurations that you want to learn about Now Mobile, all of that should be available on our YouTube video series. Okay, so let's talk about setting up your instance for today's session. So to set up the environment on your instance, you're gonna wanna make sure that your instance is upgraded to New York and beyond. And once you're upgraded, you should already have your Now mobile plugin installed. It's a single plugin, which you can find on product docs or refer to our earlier Mobile App Academies. And then once you have the Now mobile plugin already installed, we're going to enable the emergency response management workflow on the Now mobile app. And we're going to find this plugin in the ServiceNow store. So let's go and do that now. On our left-hand nav, on my instance, we're going to look up plugins. And then at the top right, there should be a little button that says Find in Store. So let's give this a second to load. And then I'll click on Find in Store. It'll take you to a different tab. And then in the search bar, we're going to look up mobile. And then we're going to click View More for ServiceNow apps, for apps and solutions. And then we're going to scroll down a little bit. Might do Control Find and look for emergency response. And you're going to find the emergency response management app for Now Mobile. And then all you have to do is log in with your high credentials, which I'll do real quick. And then once you're logged in, you should have a button that allows you to request for an install. And once this gets installed, which I've already done, you can go back into your instance. And it should have this emergency response app installed for you. It looks like there's an update for me, but I'll update it after this session. And that's pretty much it. This is the only plugin that you'll need to enable this experience. And once installed, it should automatically show up on your Now Mobile app. So now that I have that, I'm good to go. So let's hop over to our mobile device. And I'm sure you can already see that I have a health tab at the bottom here. And that indicates to me that I have it enabled. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of personas today. One user logged in as David, who has a manager persona, and then one that's logged in as Beth, the general employee. And what I'm going to do today is consolidate the health workflows into the out-of-the-box home app launcher so that I don't have too many tabs on my Now Mobile app. Excuse me. And then I'm going to assign the roles accordingly so that the manager user will see all of their manager reports, and the employees will only see their employee reports. Okay, so looking at my mobile device, I'm currently logged in as David, and I have my typical out-of-the-box experiences for home, services, and information. And then I'm going to click into the health tab. So this is our emergency response native workflow that was built into the Now Mobile app. And it was built with the purpose of helping organizations mobilize as business continuity efforts during natural disasters and pandemics like COVID-19. There were a suite of response management applications from the Now Platform desktop experience that were released last month to help streamline and automate activities on multiple fronts so that your employees can stay informed and connected. And this is the native mobile app for it. And within this native mobile workflow, immediately out of the box, once you have the plugin installed and enabled, you'll be able to do the following. You can notify employees and ask them to update their health and location via a text, an email, or push notification so that you can keep your employees connected and informed. This will also enable employees to self-report their quarantine status so that managers can monitor their team health status as they prepare to return to work. There's also out-of-the-box reports that helps your managers immediately identify illness exposures among your team so that they can track possible exposures between employees. And then lastly, if your team's reporting symptoms or for some reason cannot work, managers have the ability to coordinate and reassign work. And all of this can be done in just a couple taps on the Now Mobile app. So let me go and show you that workflow now. So again, I'm logged in as David as a manager, and I can self-report my quarantine status with a quick action at the top right. So every day that I log into this app for work, I can self-report or update my status, whether I'm in quarantine, reporting symptoms, or returning to work. So let's go ahead and say that I am currently in quarantine, and then we'll submit. And then immediately, if I do a refresh, you'll see that I have a card that has some of my info on my latest status. And if I click into this card about myself, I can see additional information, like my location, when it was last updated. And then I also have this health history. And this basically updates the activity stream each time that you make an update. And so you can see your health history over time. And then if I have any assigned tasks, my manager or I, as the user, can reassign these tasks appropriately if I'm no longer able to work. And then using a swipe to the left, I can reassign this task to someone else. So let's go and just assign this to Andrew and we'll submit. So in just a couple seconds, you can have that task reassigned. And then I can also click into the record to see more information about this task as well. Okay. And then underneath this card, I can also quickly see my team's health. So David, the manager, currently has 1 employee, and I can check out my team's health applet. You can see that I'm currently managing Beth, and I can quickly see her status in red here. She is reporting symptoms, and I can click into her record to see more information. And if I can see here that she last reported yesterday, and she is currently located in Kansas. I can also check out her health history, as well as check out her assigned task. Since that she's no longer able to work, I would be able to reassign her tasks to other teammates if I had other teammates, right? And then going back to the home screen, I also have my direct reports open task. So if I have a larger team, I would be able to see all of the tasks that's currently assigned and be able to reassign all of this from a single screen. And of course, any of the fields that you see can be configured as well. So let's actually change one of these fields here because immediately popping out to me, I want to see the priority on this record specifically. I know that the task type is incident, but I can already see that what the incident type at the top right. So let's go ahead and trade this task type field for a priority field. And again, if you're unfamiliar with configuring Now Mobile, I definitely recommend checking out the earlier App Academy series. But if you are caught up, you would know that to configure anything on Now Mobile, it requires navigating to the Now Platform UI to configure. I'm sorry, to configure anything that's out of the box. So any of the out of the box experiences that you want to leverage, it requires Now Platform UI. But any net new configurations, if you want to build a completely new tab with new applets and so forth, that can be done on Mobile Studio. So to do this, I am going to go to our left-hand navigation, and we're going to try to find this health applet. And this health applet should be called My Direct Reports Open Task. But just to show you what this health workflow looks like, let's go and find the applet launcher for it. I look up all applet launchers. The applet launcher should be called Health. And in this applet launcher, you can see all the different applets that I have, with the top one being a media section. And we want to open up the My Direct Reports Open Task. I'm going to jump into the scope so that I can go into this applet. We'll navigate to this applet. We'll click into the item stream segment and then into the item stream. If you want to better understand the hierarchy and how some of these tables work, again, definitely check out the earlier App Academies or check out our implementation guidebook. That's also on the featured content of mobile community. Okay, so we'll go into the master item. And this is what we want to change. The master item is going to be controlling this view here, your list view. And so I'm going to control the item, I'm going to change the item view. And then we'll jump into the scope. Okay, so this is currently using a custom item view JSON in which it parses 5 fields onto this list applet or on this list screen. And if I look up cell ID, I should expect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields. And you should also see 5 cell IDs, which you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then after the cell IDs, these are the fields, the column names of those tables. So this is all coming from this health table, or maybe it's coming from the health table, I believe. No, sorry, it's coming from the task table, and it's currently pulling state, number, short description, sys, class name, and assigned to. What I'm going to want to do is change this task type, which the column name on this table is called sys class name. We're going to change this to priority because that's the field that's more relevant to me as a manager, so that I can better reassign tasks to other people. And then also I want to change this task type, which is currently written down as just a fixed field or a fixed text field. So here you can see E4 is text and it wants to output task type. So we're going to write priority instead. I'm going to get rid of the brackets as well as that $sign. And then if I save, it should save accordingly. And then we'll do a refresh from the home. And then check out this output. Okay, so now I can see the priority is 1 and it's critical. And now that I know that this is probably an important task, Beth is currently out of the office, she can't work. So I can reassign this task to someone else on my team. Okay. Okay, so next what I want to do is I actually want to consolidate some of these pre-built experiences into my home tab. So I currently have a health tab, right? And then I have the home tab, which has all the things that I would need to do within a day, right? As a manager, I'm also an employee. My tasks, my requests, popular services, all that's still relevant to me, but I don't see what's the use of having 2 tabs. This might be different going from user to user, but just for today's scenario, I'm going to bring over some of the content from this health tab over to my home tab, just so that I consolidate all into a single screen. Right, okay. And to do this, there are 5 things that I'm gonna wanna move over. So I have my quick action at the top right, which I'm gonna wanna move over. I have the media section, which has this image and this little short description here. I have my profile status card underneath the media section. And then I have my 2 reports underneath that. And to move all of this over, since I already have all of these built, I just have to point these reports and actions to the right app launchers and they'll be ready. The great thing about our mobile platform is that you can reuse components that you've already built to create different experiences or landing pages, or even custom experiences for different users and personas. Maybe you'll just have to tweak a few things to better meet their needs and requirements, but you won't ever have to build them again from scratch. So let me go ahead and show you how to do that now. So back on our left-hand nav, we're going to find our app launcher. App launcher in system level. I'm going to open up the health. I'm actually going to duplicate this tab on top because I want to show you the home app launcher, this home app launcher, and then I'm also going to show you this health app launcher side by side. So for this first one, let's open up health. And then the second one, let's open up home. Homepage. Okay. So if I go onto my homepage, I can see that I currently have 4 sections on this. I have my task, my request, popular services, and popular articles. And what's more relevant to me is, if I'm logging in every day, I'm going to have to self-report. Maybe some of these things I'm not going to do every day. So I want what's top of mind to be showing up on top. So let's check out our health app launcher and see what, as an employee, what I'd want. So this report your health media section is something that I can put at the very top. It just looks best. If you're looking for UX best practices, we also have that document on mobile community, and we recommend checking that out as well. And then we have the my health card, which I'm also going to want to bring over, my team's health, and then my direct reports, which is this last one here. So this 4th record here, it seems that this was pre-populated with the plugin, but it was disabled by default. So we're not going to use it. Feel free to check it out yourself when you enable the plugin. If you find it useful to you, feel free to reactivate it as active and use it how you would like. But all I'm going to bring over is just these 4. Okay, so now that I know the name of these sections, I can just go to my home app launcher. And I'm going to just bring them over. So the media section is called Report Your Health. So let's bring over Report Your Health. Okay, and since I want this at the very top, I'm going to set this as order number 1. And then underneath that, I want to bring over this card, which is called My Health. So let's bring over My Health. I'm seeing that there's multiple My Healths. Let's see, there's 2 with capital letters. Yep, so it looks like he's using capital letters. This is the right one. I'm gonna bring over My Health. We'll set this as order number 2, which will go directly underneath the media section. And then we're gonna bring over My Team's Health, as well as My Direct Reports in that order. So My Team's Health, order 3, and then My Direct Reports. Open task. And this will be order number 4. Okay. Now let's go ahead and save this to save changes. And now if I refresh my mobile app, whoops, wrong app one, landing page, refresh my mobile app, I should see those changes here. Cool, okay. So now I've basically taken all this content here on this health tab and I've migrated it over to the home tab. So just looking at my home tab now, I kind of want to clean this up. This doesn't look all that great. So let's actually remove the header on My Direct Reports Open Test. That way I just see 2 icon sections underneath these 2. And then maybe we can rename this subsection as My Team's Health and Work. Okay, so let's go ahead and find My Direct Reports Open Task, which is here. And this is actually a feature that you won't see inside of Mobile Studio. So this is an example of some of the advanced configurations that you can do on the Now platform. There's a little feature that's called Hide Header, and you'll actually be able to hide the header of your icon section above. So if I click Save, and then I do a refresh, I will no longer see that header. And it looks like it all belongs in one. And it looks just a little better that way. And then let's rename this so it's a bit more relevant. So I'm going to change the header of My Employees Work. So My Team's Health. Let's rename this to My Team's Health and Open Task. And then we'll refresh. And there you go. Okay. So typically, for an even better design experience, I wouldn't recommend putting a card at the very top. Typically, you would put all your icon applets at the very top, and then you have all your card sections below. It just looks better that way. But for now, this is just today's scenario. Feel free to customize them, how you'd like them. This is just to show you how you can do it yourself. Okay, so now that you see my new and improved home experience, I no longer need this health tab over to the right. So I'm going to deactivate this tab. But before I do that, I actually want to show you the employee persona first, just so you can get an idea of what that persona looks like. So I'm going to log out of this app, and then I'm going to log in as Beth, the general employee. So let's log in as Beth. And I'm also going to show you a trick that might get you stuck. Okay, so, oops, access denied. Okay, so I'm getting access denied for this user. Let's find out what's going up. If I look up Beth as a user, it's possible that she doesn't have a role. So let's look up Beth. We'll look for Beth. Okay. And then side by side, I'm also going to pull up the ACL table for access controls. And then we're going to organize this by updated because I just downloaded this plugin yesterday. I'm going to, it's probably the latest ACLs that were added to this instance, which are these ones up here. Okay, so I'm seeing quarantine, emergency, and crisis task. So this looks relevant to me. And then I want to make sure that Beth has read privileges. So let's look and find read. And I think I looked at this ACL earlier, quarantine crisis task. So let's check out this one. And it looks like there's a description that says allowed read for records in this quarantine crisis task with the role SNINT quarantine crisis task user. So at the moment, Beth doesn't have this role. So I'm guessing if I were to bring this over, she'll be able to log in into her health experience. So let's go ahead and try that now. I don't think I removed any roles that would prevent her from accessing the app. So it should just be this one. So SNINT quarantine crisis task user. So let's bring that over, we'll save. And then let's try logging in again with her. Okay, mobile team. Beth. I'm still getting server access denied. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to give her temporary admin privileges. But let's also make sure she has SNC internal. It's odd, okay. Okay, so I don't know what's wrong with Beth. I don't have enough time to go through all the ACLs and figure out why she's not doesn't have access. So to show you a different user, let's actually show you someone else. So I'm going to log in as Teddy Taylor, and then I'm going to set Teddy Taylor as to report to David. So manager is going to be David. Let's give it a password to log in. We'll click save. And then let's log in as Teddy Taylor. There we go. Okay, so now I'm a general employee and I'm logged in as Teddy and I'm currently reporting to David. So every day that I log into this Now mobile app, I'm gonna need to self-report my status so that my manager can track it. So should have a quick action here. So on my health tab, let's go and say that Teddy is currently reporting symptoms. We'll click submit, and I'll do refresh. And I'm seeing that my card is still not popping up. It says that my health is empty, even though I'm sure that I just reported that Teddy is reporting symptoms. So let's actually check out the health table just to double check. Look at my health records. I see there's a health record for Teddy Taylor, and it says the health status is reporting symptoms and it's currently active. Yet I still don't see this. And that's where we ran into this ACL issue earlier. We need to give Teddy read rights for this table. So let's give him that role as well. So let's look at users. Open up Teddy. Let's give Teddy SNINT quarantine crisis task. And then we'll save. Okay. So now if I refresh, Teddy should be able to see his own card. Save. Huh. Send to, did I bring it over? Versus task state is active. Let's see if there's any other ACLs. Quarantine crisis task user. Task, let's make sure I brought over the right role. Let's double check the ACLs and see if there's anything else here. So, self-report, read access, no description, quarantine crisis, allows for all fields in this task role, human resource team. So there, it seems there's another field here, another role. Let's also bring this one over as well. So let's bring this one over and click save. Let's see if this fixes the issue. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it looks like it needed those two roles in order for Teddy to be able to access his card and also be able to read records off this table. So now, as Teddy, I should be able to see my status. And every day that I log in, I should be able to update my status as well. So today I'm reporting symptoms, but tomorrow, you know, if I'm going back into quarantine or returning to work and I'm ready to return to the office, I should be able to update my status. This can trigger a push notification to your manager, or this can trigger a push notification. It will send an update to them, and they can manage the statuses of their employees. And then I consolidated it over here as well, so that you can actually now remove this health tab since this isn't relevant anymore. So let's go and do that real quick. Apple launchers. For health. And let's just jump into the scope. So I'm seeing some customers on our mobile community site ask questions, you know, how do I get rid of this tab? Do I delete it? So on platform UI, all you have to do is just deactivate it. Don't actually delete the whole Apple launcher. It kind of just saves you the trouble in case you need it sometime in the future. Okay, so we'll deactivate it and then we'll click save. And then we'll refresh. Actually, since we configured a navigation tab, we have to log out, do a full log out and log back in. So let's log back in. It's Teddy Taylor. And I would expect to not see that health tab anymore. Okay, so now this basically looks like out of the box. And the only thing I did was I took the health content and brought it over to the home tab. So now I have a very engaging employee landing page in which every time I log in, I'll self-report and I'll still be able to, you know, look at my tasks, submit requests, do all that other stuff that I could already do on the Now mobile app. And it just looks a lot better, all consolidated as well. Okay, so there was a couple of things I want to show you from the admin perspective as well. So let's go back into the admin persona. Let's log in as David, the manager. So I think I kind of skipped this over, but you know, if your employees aren't currently, you know, if they're not reporting their statuses every day, you can actually send them a reminder via a mobile text or an email. And this can actually be done natively, since the mobile platform for ServiceNow is all native. You don't actually have to copy and paste this email and drag it over to your Outlook. But instead, with just a tap of the button, you can send an email to Beth. And you can actually set a template email. And you know, this could be like their reminders to update you. And then if I had a mobile phone for Beth, you know, I would be able to send her a text as well. Teddy has a mobile phone, so you know, I can call or text him here as well. Okay. So that is pretty much it. So Yeah, okay. So let's go ahead and open up to questions. I'm seeing a bunch of things on chat. Um, if you have any questions, we're going to open up to Q&A right now. So let's check out some of these questions. So from Miguel, I'm seeing, I'm relatively new here. Can I have a mobile dev work between instances with update sets? I will be checking the community to find out more information, but just wanted to ask in case. Yes, so the answer is yes, you can. Or actually, I need some clarity, I guess. Miguel, I'm actually going to put you on speaker, and you can actually ask your question live. And I also have Fu here as well, who can help speak to it more as well. So I'm going to give you talking rights, Miguel, and then I'm going to unmute you. And then once you're ready, go ahead and unmute yourself. And
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. How's it
Hey,
going?
thank you, David. Thank you, Fu. Just a quick question. I've been following your sessions. Are excellent. Thank you very much for putting this together. The question is, so if I'm developing apps, which is my current project, and I'm doing it in a dev instance, right? Because I want to make sure everything's working before I go live.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get it over to the production side? Do I have to use Git, or do I just do an update set like I do any other development?
Right, Fu, do you want to take this one?
Yeah. So when you create a mobile app or when you create an app, you create a scope. And in your scope, when you type in my company, for example, David, if you type in my company on your...
I can barely hear you, sorry.
Oh,
sorry.
Fu, can you fix your audio?
Yeah, do you hear me now or no?
Yes, I got you. Thank you.
Okay. So just to reiterate, so basically, when you create a new app, you create a scoped app. And when you create a scoped app, you can export that and import it to your production instance. For example, so here, if you type in my company on your what David's showing you, this is where your scoped app is. Okay, and then you can basically export this into an XML, and then you can import it.
Okay, so it's more like an import, not an update set.
It is an update set, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm still learning.
Yeah, it's an update set. Yeah.
Okay, I got you. All right, perfect. Thank you very much. Great stuff. Keep it coming, guys. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for the feedback.
Okay. So on the ServiceNow agent side, we're pretty good at having single plugins and a single scopes to build the entire experience. For example, ITSM, right? The ITSM app on the ServiceNow agent app. It's all on a single plugin. It has multiple navigation tabs, and it's good. All that can be modified inside of Mobile Studio. However, when we brought over Now Mobile in New York, that was a general employee persona, and it was an experience that was built by multiple teams across various BUs. You know, you have ITSM, HR, ITM, and so forth. And so, because Mobile Studio doesn't deal too great on handling multiple scoped applications at a time. That's the reason why you have to modify a bunch of things. If you want to leverage the out-of-the-box experiences on Now Mobile, you know, Mobile Studio can't configure it for you. However, on our roadmap, we're currently prioritizing improving that experience so that you can modify all this stuff on the out-of-the-box experiences for Now Mobile inside of Mobile Studio. So that's upcoming, and it's currently something that we're prioritizing and we're working on. So in the meantime, if you're on New York or Orlando, most of the out-of-the-box configurations and modifications, it takes place on Platform UI. But just know that we've heard you, and you know this is something that we're hoping to improve. And I think the second part of the question is you brought it all into your own scoped application, and you're just taking content that's already pre-built and putting it into your own scoped application. And that is actually encouraged, right? So all of our workflows, we recommend that you stay out of the box and try to modify and try to take advantage of what we've provided. But what you can also do is if you have super custom workflows, you can create your own scoped application and just take the pieces that you want from different workflows. So that is also something you can do. And so you're not doing anything wrong there. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay. We have another question from Sanyama. I think the question is, can we have client-side validations on mobile? Date cannot be in the past. Fu, do you want to take this one? For the client-side validations.
Yeah, sure. So they cannot be in the past. When you're doing validation, so do you want to unmute her? And I want to ask some clarification. So
yeah,
in
so
mobile,
I'm going to unmute Sanyama. I'm going to allow to talk, and then so now you should be able to unmute yourself. Feel free to clarify the question for us.
Yep, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for those sessions, David and team. Those are very helpful, as well as the community portal. So my question is basically, so usually on our forms, our desktop forms, we implement a lot of validations on fields. So with the UI policies and all, we can definitely make it as mandatory and visible true and false. But for instance, if we want a validation on a date field where the user cannot select a date in the past, is it possible to add those validations on the mobile platform?
very good question. So I assume you have a form and there's some sort of client scripting, some JavaScript that checks to see date so that they are not able to enter that. Currently now, there is no client scripting in support for mobile. We are looking into it in future releases. However, you can do some sort of validation, but you have to do it via a scripted action item. So when your users selects a date, for let's say for example an invalid date that is in the past, okay, or something that is invalid, when they post, you can take those values and you can call a script. And actually, you can write script like JavaScript inside your action item and to check, and then you can reject it, reject the post, or provide some sort of message saying that this date is invalid. But it's a different way of thinking, like how you do it in web forms. Okay, but it's the same concept. It's just that it checks on submission instead.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right. Yep. Do we have any examples of such items available out of the box?
Currently, no. Actually, you know, if you're interested in building more scripts or doing more scripting in mobile in action items, so out of the, I mean, what we show you guys are all declarative. So if you want to know more about scripts, if you look at ITSM's scoped app, you can see there's a series of scripts that they've written. You can sort by action item and just look at script types, and then you can see how they've done it. I think in my QR example, there's a video that I did for QR, how to create a QR code. YouTube, I think that was the last series. There is, I show a little bit of scripting, and this should be enough for you to dive into scripting, understanding how UI and item parameters flow in a script, and it'll give you a very good example of how to validate. And I'll also show you like what happens if you can reject a certain input, and you can accept it too. So look into that. That should give you some information on how to build it.
Sure, I'll have a look at it. And I do see in action items on the ITSM mobile application as well. I'll check those. Thank you so much for those inputs.
There's a bunch on the field service one too. So if you have access to field service out of the box, download that as well and check out the scripted action items there too.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Let's check the chat real fast. There is one other thing that I want to show you in case we have an extra time. Okay. So is there any plans in the future for letting end user customize their experience? Like customizing which notifications they want to see or which reports that they want. So That is all kind of controlled by the admin. You know, in order to configure any mobile experiences for mobile at ServiceNow, you know, you do have to work with a ServiceNow admin persona, and you know, based on your learnings and how they engage with their end users and the requirements that come up from that, you know, that's kind of how you modify your experiences moving forward. And then you also have mobile analytics in Orlando, which will give you a whole lot more data on how your users are using your workflows. You can see where they fall out of the app, what actions they aren't using, you know, if they're even opening up their push notifications and whatnot. And that also will give you more insight on, you know, how do I improve my workflows moving forward? So hopefully that answers your question. Here, I'm actually going to unmute you so you can continue asking questions. So, okay, so Zhao, if you unmute yourself, we should be able to hear you.
Hi there.
Oh, perfect. Okay, we can hear you now.
Oh, thanks. First of all, congratulations for this series. It's amazing the work you are doing and your team. And what I meant in my question was about not the developer, but the end user. Mm-hmm. So my client just asked me, me as an end user, can I check which notifications I want to see and which don't? So I know as a developer, I can put that working, but the end user could also, could we give him that opportunity in the future, I mean?
Right. I think at the moment, what we currently support is whether they just enable all notifications or none, or maybe Fu, if you have any insight on that. Is there anything on the desktop side or the platform side that could control?
Yeah, so my understanding is that from the end user, it's either you turn it off or turn it on. But all that communication is controlled by how it's being triggered. And that is actually done by the developer or the admin. So if the push notification just cares about like if it meets the criteria and it gets pushed to a certain role, then it's going to execute. So it is all controlled by the developer or whatever your business is. It's not controlled by the end user. The end user can only enable and disable push notification. And I don't. There's no there for future. I think your question is like, is there anything that the end user can do in the future that can customize their notification? Currently, I don't. There's none. Like you can't silence like one. I don't know, one persona or something. I think that's what you're trying to ask.
Yeah, it's that. It's okay. Thank you very much.
Do you know if that's enabled on the platform experience? Is that something, because mobile kind of rides off the platform notifications?
Yeah, it's all platform based.
But
so,
it is a very unique use case. You know, if you want to submit that onto the idea portal on community, that will, you know, register on our radar for the inbound PMs. And that could be like a further discussion that can be made if it is a highly requested use case from customers. So we would recommend, you know, putting the idea out on the idea portal. I'm not sure if you're aware, but on mobile community, there's a little idea portal button at the very top. And then here you can submit any product enhancements request and just make sure you filter the category by mobile. Don't do mobile ITSM or any of the other mobiles, just do mobile. And this will go straight to our backlog.
Yeah, I think his question is more like how YouTube is like, I want to follow this particular channel and I get a notification whenever there's new content.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's kind of like social media.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely an interesting use case. And I think we can have further discussions on it in the future. So thanks for bringing that up. Great feedback.
Thanks a lot. And thanks again for these tutorials. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you joining us as well. Any other questions that we can help answer? If not, I can show something real quick. I've gotten a question on, you know, I have stuff on Agent, I have stuff on Now Mobile. Can I condense everything into one mobile app? And yes, the concept that you took, what I showed today, that can also be applied across agent as well, right? So for example, if I have my launcher for, ITSM, it doesn't make sense because, most of the pre-built workflows that we have on agent is specifically for fulfillers. And then for Now Mobile App, it's for general employees. So, I mean, it is possible that, your general employee, some of your general employees might be fulfillers too. You could compile it that way, and you can, set up the roles so that everything shows up on that one mobile app. So I'll just show you it, just to show you that we have that capability, although we don't recommend it because, we have those two apps to differentiate those two personas for that very reason. So if I look up ITSM, for example, I think they call one of their app launchers incident or something. Yeah, incidents here. If I open up this instance, and I think they have, let's say I want to take over my instance and put it over into home here. And I can very much do that even though they're on two different clients. So let's actually put it underneath, let's just say we'll put it at the very top actually. We'll just put it between the media section and this card. So we'll open up the app launcher for home. And then we'll create a new section called My Incident. I think is what they called it. And then we'll just set the order to 0. And then we'll save. And then as quick and easy as that, you can bring over stuff from across clients. So hopefully that helps answer anyone who was interested in condensing into fewer apps. Okay. Any other questions? If not, I want to show you the additional resources that we have on mobile community in case you are new to mobile. So that was pretty much everything that we wanted to show you today. So, getting comfortable with the platform UI is extremely important to understand how to customize, to troubleshoot. And, there's going to be some times where you'll run into mobile studio bugs or some sort of mobile studio bug and realize that the configuration isn't supported, or if it's something that's on our end. Or maybe it's configured on platform UI and you just don't know. And so how do I navigate the C's on understanding, am I running into a bug, or maybe it's just not something that's supported on the platform? And that leads me to the last thing that I want to mention. For additional resources, I highly recommend that you check out our mobile implementation guidebook, because it pretty much gives you an overview on how to get started with mobile. And it talks about all the important backend tables that you might want to know about. For example, how did I know to, how did I understand item stream segments, item streams and master items? And how did I know, cell IDs on the master item controls the fields on that list applet? Well, if you actually take a look at our mobile community site for mobile, we actually do a deep dive on all the backend tables. It is a very long document. However, if you know exactly what you're looking for, it can be very helpful. So if I look up starting on mobile app for customer, there is an implementation guide as number 1 here. If we click into this, this will take you to your mobile implementation steps. If we open up this PDF, it's about a 20-30 page PDF, and it talks about things like what are all the mobile features and enhancements or components that I can take advantage in my workflows. There's also a checklist that shows you when you need to configure inside of Mobile Studio versus when to configure outside of Mobile Studio. So working in pair with the Mobile App Academy series, along with this document, I think both of these will help you navigate your C's on how to build mobile, customize mobile, and get really good at mobile. One of the most important pages on this doc as well is you have these out-of-the-box plugins, all the things that you can take advantage of. You have here's the checklist. If I'm doing like a employee directory applet, do I build that inside Studio or outside Studio? So it gives you an idea of where to configure. And then if I scroll down further, there's something I want to show you. Okay, so if you're building mobile from scratch, we actually try to help you understand where to get started. And within this 12-step process from defining your app's purpose, determine, we have 3 clients. We have agent, now mobile, and onboarding. Do you need all 3? Or maybe you just need 2. You just need the agent and now mobile, or maybe you just want 1. It kind of just walks you through the thought process of like how to define your requirements and what you need in your workflows. And then it goes down to how to customize your users' landing pages, to defining your information in tables and parameters, visualizing your data, all the templates that we provide, screen fields, action functions, and so forth. So definitely recommend checking out this document. It has lots of good information on it, as well as mobile community. If you have any questions for us, we're active on community and we try to respond as fast as we can. I think that's all I wanted to share for today. So if there's no other questions, I'll take a look one last time. There's one more question. Let's see. If we can create additional app lists and data items in the existing scope, would it impact the upgrade? We have a demand approvals in addition to rhythms, request and change approvals in the ITSM scope. So existing pending approvals have been updated to include the demand items too. So from what I'm hearing, I've never actually done it myself, migrating and upgrading instances and taking all the out of the box stuff. But I have talked with other teams, specifically on the now mobile teams, and asked how they migrate all of their stuff to new releases. And they've said, through update sets, they haven't really had any issues in migrating anything. And maybe Fu can shed some light there too. But with update sets and XMLs, you should be able to, if you make any modifications to your out of box stuff, it will also migrate. The only difficulty that customers had is migrating from Madrid to New York. And that is because we introduced a whole lot of new tables and changed the hierarchy completely, going from Madrid to New York. So that can be a little tricky navigating, but we have a support team to help you through that. But if you're migrating from New York to Orlando, or New York to beyond, or Orlando and beyond, update sets and XMLs should be your way to migrate without issues. Fu, is there anything that you want to add to that?
No, that's definitely correct. Yeah, what you said was right.
Okay, hopefully that answers your question. Okay, cool. Alrighty, so thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope this session was informative and helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to keep posting them on the mobile community site as we explore other configurations in future app academies. We're gonna have another session in 2 weeks. And so stay tuned, keep in loop, and hope to see you at the next one. Thank you everyone, and have a great week. Cheers.